The next morning, Victoria Sterling woke up in her penthouse apartment to the sound of her phone buzzing incessantly. She had fallen asleep thinking about her conversation with James Crawford, their business discussion having evolved into something far more personal as the evening progressed. It talked for hours about everything from market trends to their favorite books, and she couldn't remember the last time she had enjoyed someone's company so thoroughly. But the urgent buzzing suggested something was very wrong. Victoria grabbed her phone and immediately saw dozens of missed calls and text messages. The first one she opened was from Emma, sent at 6 in the morning with a single word, followed by multiple exclamation points. Emergency. Before Victoria could call her back, Emma was already bursting through her apartment door using the spare key. Victoria had given her 4 emergencies. "Victoria, we have a massive problem," Emma announced, her usually perfect composure completely shattered. She was still in her pajamas with her hair in a messy bun, clutching her tablet like a lifeline. What happened? Did the Crawford deal fall through? Worse? Much worse. Emma thrust her tablet toward Victoria, revealing a gossip website with a headline that made Victoria's blood run cold. Tech billionaire's secret bathroom rendezvous. It's mystery venture capitalist. Below the headline was a series of photos that someone had obviously taken through the restaurant windows the night before. Victoria and James talking intimately at their corner table, their heads close together as they shared what looked like romantic conversation. The images had been edited to look even more suggestive than the innocent business discussion they actually captured. How did they even get these photos? Victoria demanded, scrolling through the article in horror. It gets worse, Emma said grimly. Someone overheard you talking about the bathroom incident and recorded part of the conversation. They're spinning it as some kind of secret romantic encounter. Victoria's phone rang, and James Crawford's name appeared on the screen, she answered. Immediately? James, please tell me you're seeing this nightmare too. My manager Daniel Park is currently having what I believe medical professionals would call a panic attack. Apparently this story has gone viral in the past 3 hours. Victoria put the call on speaker so Emma could hear. How viral are we talking? Trending. On every social media platform, the hashtag BathroomGate is currently #1 worldwide. Emma pulled up her social media feeds, showing Victoria the explosion of memes, jokes, and speculation spreading across the internet like wildfire. Some people found the story romantic. Others were making crude jokes. And a few conspiracy theorists were suggesting the whole thing was a publicity stunt to boost both their company's stock prices. This is a disaster, Victoria groaned. My board meeting is in 2 hours. How am I supposed to explain this? Actually, James said slowly, I have an idea that might sound completely insane, but hear me out. What if we don't fight this? Are you suggesting we let people believe we're dating? Victoria asked incredulously. I'm suggesting we consider the possibility that this could work in our favor. Think about it. Both our companies are about to announce major expansions. The media attention, even if it started as gossip, is putting us in the spotlight in a way that millions in advertising couldn't achieve. Emma was frantically typing on her tablet, pulling up early market reports. He's not wrong, Victoria. Sterling Technologies stock is up 12% in pre-market trading. People are interpreting this as a potential merger or partnership. You're proposing we fake a relationship for business purposes? Victoria asked, though she found herself intrigued by the audacity of the plan. Not fake, James corrected. We're already planning to work together professionally. We clearly enjoy each other's company. What if we simply don't correct people's assumptions while we explore both the business and personal possibilities? Victoria found herself considering the proposal more seriously than she should have. James Crawford was undeniably attractive, obviously intelligent, and their conversation the night before had revealed a compatibility she hadn't expected. The bathroom incident had already created an unusual bond between them, built on shared embarrassment and mutual humor about an absurd situation. This is completely unprofessional, she said, but her tone suggested she was warming to the idea. The most successful partnerships often start in unprofessional ways, James replied. Besides, we're both adults. If we decide to pursue something personal alongside our business relationship, that's nobody's concern but ours. Emma was practically bouncing with excitement. Victoria, this could be brilliant. The media loves a good romance story, especially one involving two powerful business leaders. Instead of being victims of gossip, you become the architects of one of the most talked about partnerships in corporate history. Victoria's phone buzzed with another call from her board of directors. She declined it, knowing she needed to make a decision quickly. "If we do this," she said finally, "there have to be ground rules, clear boundaries between what's real and what's performance, and an exit strategy if things go wrong." "Agreed," James said immediately. "Daniel is already drafting a preliminary agreement that protects both our interests while allowing us the flexibility to see where this leads." "You had your manager draw up a fake dating contract." Victoria couldn't help but laugh. "I prefer to think of it as a partnership agreement with romantic clauses," James replied, and she could hear the smile in his voice. Emma was already pulling up Victoria's calendar, rearranging meetings and scheduling what she was calling relationship maintenance appointments. The efficiency with which her assistant was organizing their fake romance was both impressive and slightly terrifying. "All right," Victoria said, surprising herself with the decision. "Let's do this. But if this backfires and destroys both our reputations, I'm blaming you entirely." "Fair enough. Should we seal this deal with dinner tonight? Somewhere very public where we're sure to be photographed? Make it lunch. I want to maintain some semblance of my normal schedule." After ending the call, Victoria stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror, wondering what she had just agreed to. In less than 24 hours, she had gone from successful but single businesswoman to half of the internet's favorite new power couple. Emma appeared in the doorway, grinning like she had just won the lottery. This is going to be the most interesting quarter in Sterling Technologies' history. Victoria couldn't argue with that. She just hoped she knew what she was doing. By noon, photos of Victoria and James having lunch at the city's most exclusive restaurant were already circulating online. They sat at a window table, discussing legitimate business strategies, while photographers captured every smile and gesture from across the street. "This feels surreal," Victoria admitted, cutting into her salmon while trying to ignore the cameras. "Which part? The fake relationship, or the fact that you're actually enjoying yourself?" Victoria paused, realizing he was right. Despite the bizarre circumstances, she was having a wonderful time. James was witty, charming, and genuinely interested in her thoughts on everything from artificial intelligence to sustainable energy. "Both," she admitted. "This wasn't exactly how I planned to spend my week." "The best plans are the ones that never survive contact with reality," James said, raising his wine glass in a mock toast. "Two unexpected partnerships. 2 bathroom encounters. That change everything," Victoria replied, clinking her glass against his as they finished lunch. Victoria's phone buzzed with a text from Emma containing the latest social media metrics. Their lunch photos had already generated over 1 million interactions across various platforms. Both their company's stock prices were climbing steadily. "It's working," she told James, showing him the numbers. "The business side or the personal side?" Victoria looked across the table at this man who had become such an unexpected presence in her life. Maybe both. As they left the restaurant together, James offered her his arm, and Victoria took it naturally. The cameras flashed around them, capturing what looked like a perfectly romantic moment between two people falling in love. The strange part was, Victoria wasn't entirely sure they were still pretending. 3 weeks into their arrangement, Victoria Sterling found herself in a situation she had never anticipated. What had started as a mutually beneficial business strategy was evolving into something far more complicated and genuine than either she or James Crawford had expected. The fake relationship had exceeded all their professional goals. Both Sterling Technologies and Crawford Ventures had seen unprecedented growth, with investors clamoring to be part of what the media had dubbed the partnership of the century. Their companies were collaborating on revolutionary projects that combined Victoria's AI innovations with James's global investment network, creating opportunities neither could have achieved alone. But tonight, as Victoria prepared for the charity gala that would mark their most public appearance yet, she realized the professional success was no longer her primary concern. Emma bustled around Victoria's bedroom, arranging the stunning emerald dress that James had sent over that morning, along with a note that simply read, "This will match your eyes perfectly." "He has excellent taste," Emma observed, fastening the delicate diamond necklace that completed the ensemble. "And he's clearly paying attention to details most men would miss." "It's all part of the performance," Victoria said, though her voice lacked conviction. "Right," Emma replied with obvious skepticism. "That's why you've been smiling at your phone every time he texts you, and why you insisted on rearranging your entire schedule to have coffee with him yesterday morning." Victoria couldn't deny that the lines between reality and pretense had become increasingly blurred. James had proven to be everything she hadn't known she was looking for in a partner. He challenged her intellectually, supported her professionally, and made her laugh in ways that felt effortless and natural. The problem was, she had no idea if his feelings were equally genuine or if he was simply an exceptionally good actor. Her phone buzzed with a message from James. "My driver is downstairs. Whenever you're ready. Looking forward to seeing you." 20 minutes later, Victoria stepped out of her building to find James waiting beside a sleek black limousine, looking devastatingly handsome in his tailored tuxedo. When he saw her, his expression shifted from polite appreciation to something much more intense and personal. "You look absolutely breathtaking," he said, taking her hand and helping her into the car. The way he looked at her made Victoria's heart race in a way that had nothing to do with cameras or publicity. During the drive to the gala, they reviewed their strategy for the evening. The charity event would be attended by the city's most influential people, and their appearance together would solidify their status as the power couple everyone wanted to meet. "Rebecca Chen will be there tonight," James mentioned casually, though Victoria caught the slight tension in his voice. Rebecca Chen was a formidable businesswoman who ran a competing investment firm and had a history with James that Victoria had learned about through careful research rather than direct conversation. "Should I be concerned?" Victoria asked, surprised by the hint of jealousy in her own voice. "Rebecca and I dated briefly 2 years ago. It ended amicably, but she's never been particularly gracious about my subsequent relationships, which until recently were mostly fictional relationships created by tabloid speculation," Victoria pointed out. "True, but this feels different." The way he said it made Victoria look at him more carefully. "Different how?" James met her gaze directly. "You know how." Before Victoria could respond, they arrived at the gala venue. The red carpet stretched before them, lined with photographers and reporters eager to capture every moment of their appearance. "Together? Ready to give them a show?" James asked, offering her his arm. "Ready," Victoria replied, though she wasn't sure which show they were talking about anymore. The red carpet experience was everything Victoria had expected and more. Photographers shouted their names, reporters asked about their relationship and business plans, and fans called out from behind velvet ropes. James handled it all with practiced ease, keeping one protective hand on Victoria's back while answering questions with charm and just enough mystery to keep people intrigued. Inside the ballroom, the evening proceeded smoothly until Rebecca Chen made her entrance. Victoria had to admit that Rebecca was stunning. Tall, elegant, and radiating the kind of confidence that came from years of success in a male-dominated industry. She wore a black dress that probably cost more than most people's cars and moved through the crowd like she owned the entire building. James, Rebecca purred as she approached their table, completely ignoring Victoria's presence. "You look wonderful tonight. Success clearly agrees with you, Rebecca," James replied politely, standing to greet her. "You remember Victoria Sterling, don't you?" Rebecca's smile was perfectly polite and absolutely cold. "Of course, the tech genius. How fascinating that you two found each other." "Fascinating is one word for it," Victoria replied, matching Rebecca's tone exactly. "I was just telling the Millers about that wonderful weekend we spent in Napa last year, James. Remember? The private vineyard tour and that amazing little restaurant you discovered?" Victoria felt a stab of something that was definitely jealousy, which surprised her with its intensity. She had no right to feel possessive about James's past relationships, especially since their own relationship was supposedly fake. "That was a long time ago, Rebecca," James said firmly, moving closer to Victoria in what appeared to be an unconscious gesture of loyalty. "Not so long that I've forgotten," Rebecca replied, her eyes flicking between them with obvious calculation. "I suppose people move on to new adventures." "How long have you two been together now?" "Long enough to know what we want," Victoria interjected, surprised by her own boldness. Rebecca's eyebrows rose slightly. "How refreshing." Most of James's relationships don't last long enough for such certainty. Before the conversation could escalate further, the charity auction began, providing a welcome distraction. Victoria and James bid on several items together, their collaboration natural and synchronized in a way that felt genuine to everyone watching, including themselves. When James bid an astronomical amount on a weekend getaway to ensure Victoria won the package she had been eyeing, the gesture felt less like performance and more like something a real boyfriend would do. "You didn't have to do that," Victoria whispered as the auctioneer moved on to the next item. "I wanted to," James replied, and the way he looked at her made Victoria's chest tighten with emotion she wasn't prepared to name. Later, as they danced to the orchestra's romantic music, Victoria found herself forgetting about the cameras, the observers, and even Rebecca Chen watching from across the room. "This is nice," she murmured against James's shoulder as they swayed together. "It is," he agreed, his arms tightening around her slightly. "Victoria, I need to tell you something." "What?" "This stopped being fake for me weeks ago." Victoria pulled back to look at him, her heart pounding. "James, I know we started this as a business arrangement, but somewhere along the way, it became the most real thing in my life." Before Victoria could respond, her phone buzzed with an urgent message. "From Emma, photo of you two dancing is already viral. Hashtag Power Couple Goals is trending worldwide." But for once, Victoria didn't care about the publicity or the business implications. All she cared about was the man holding her and the realization that she had fallen completely and genuinely in love with him. "It stopped being fake for me too," she whispered. James smiled, the first completely unguarded expression she had seen from him since their bathroom encounter. "So what do we do now?" "Now we stop pretending and start being real." As the orchestra played on and the cameras captured their every move, Victoria Sterling and James Crawford decided to turn their fake relationship into something authentic. The bathroom incident that had brought them together had led to the greatest partnership of both their lives, professional and personal. Sometimes the best love stories began in the most unexpected places. Even a men's restroom at a corporate event, where two successful people discovered that the most important deals were the ones you made with your heart. 6 months later, when James proposed to Victoria at the same charity gala where they had first admitted their real feelings, the entire ballroom erupted in applause. Their love story had captivated the world, proving that sometimes the most beautiful relationships grew from the most awkward beginnings, and they never did live down the bathroom story, which became the opening line of every speech at their wedding. Victoria Sterling adjusted her diamond earrings one final time before stepping out of her Tesla Model S at the Grand Metropolitan Event Center. The tech billionaire had built her empire from nothing, creating the most revolutionary AI software the world had ever seen. Tonight's corporate summit would seal her latest billion-dollar deal. But first, she desperately needed to freshen up after the long drive through downtown traffic. The event center buzzed with the city's most powerful business leaders. Victoria nodded politely at familiar faces as she navigated through the marble-floored lobby, her designer heels clicking against the pristine surface. The champagne reception was already in full swing, but nature was calling more urgently than networking. She spotted the restroom signs down a dimly lit corridor and hurried toward them, her mind still focused on the presentation she would deliver. In 20 minutes, the stress of closing the biggest deal of her career had her completely distracted as she pushed through the door, marked with what she assumed was the women's symbol. Inside the elegant restroom, Victoria set her clutch on the marble counter and began touching up her lipstick in the ornate mirror. The soft lighting cast a flattering glow across her features as she practiced her opening line one more time. Everything had to be perfect tonight. That's when she heard it. A deep, unmistakably masculine voice echoed from one of the stalls behind her. "Hey, could someone pass me some toilet paper? This place ran out and I'm kind of stuck here." Victoria froze, her lipstick tube suspended halfway to her mouth. She glanced around the restroom, suddenly noticing details she had missed in her rush. The urinals along the far wall. The darker color scheme. The complete absence of feminine products. She was in the men's restroom. "Excuse me," the voice called again, more urgently this time. "I know someone's out there. Could you please just slide some paper under the door?" Victoria's face burned with embarrassment, but something about the situation struck her as absurdly funny. Here she was, one of the most powerful women in tech, standing in a men's bathroom about to help a stranger with his most basic human need. "You do realize you're talking to a woman, right?" she called back, unable to keep the amusement out of her voice. There was complete silence from the stall for several long seconds. "A woman," the voice repeated slowly. "In the men's restroom, apparently." "We're both having navigation issues tonight," Victoria replied, moving toward the paper towel dispenser. "Though I'd say your situation is slightly more pressing than mine." "This is mortifying," the man groaned. "Worst luck imaginable." Victoria tore off several paper towels and approached the stall door. "Look, we're both adults here. Embarrassing things happen. I'll slide this under, and we can both pretend this never occurred." "You're being surprisingly cool about this," the voice said, and Victoria could hear genuine gratitude mixed with residual embarrassment. "Trust me, I've been in worse situations. Last month I accidentally gave a presentation to the wrong board of directors for 20 minutes before anyone mentioned it." A low chuckle came from the stall. "Now that sounds like a story worth hearing." Victoria slid the paper towels under the door, noting the expensive Italian leather shoes visible beneath the gap. "There you go. Crisis averted." "Thank you. Seriously. You're a lifesaver." "Just promise me you'll pay more attention to door signs in the future," Victoria said, already heading toward the exit. She needed to get out before anyone else discovered her own navigation error. "Wait," the voice called. "I don't even know your name." Victoria paused at the door, her hand on the handle. Something about his voice was intriguing, cultured but warm, with just a hint of an accent she couldn't quite place. "Let's keep it mysterious," she replied. "Makes for a better story." She slipped out of the restroom and hurried back toward the main event, her heart beating faster than it should have been. The whole encounter had lasted less than 5 minutes, but something about it felt significant in a way she couldn't explain. 20 minutes later, Victoria stood at the podium delivering her presentation to a room full of corporate executives. Her AI software demonstration went flawlessly, each feature showcasing the revolutionary technology that would transform how businesses operated worldwide. The applause was thunderous as she concluded. She felt the familiar rush of success coursing through her veins as she stepped down from the stage. Accepting congratulations from various industry leaders, her assistant Emma Rodriguez appeared. At her elbow with a champagne flute and a knowing smile. "Brilliant as always," Emma said, her tablet already pulled up with preliminary numbers. "The investors are practically throwing money at us. This deal is going to be even bigger than we projected." Victoria sipped her champagne, scanning the crowd of well-dressed attendees. "Any interesting developments I should know about?" "Actually, yes. There's someone here who specifically requested to meet you. James Crawford, the venture capitalist. He's been asking about you all evening." Victoria nearly choked on her champagne. James Crawford. The James Crawford who turned a small investment firm into a global empire? The very same. Apparently, he's very interested in discussing potential partnerships. He's quite charming, actually, and single if that matters. Before Victoria could respond, Emma was already guiding her through the crowd toward a small group, gathered near the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline. As they approached, the group parted slightly, revealing a tall man in an impeccably tailored navy suit. Victoria's breath caught in her throat. It was him. The voice from the bathroom belonged to James Crawford, one of the most eligible bachelors in the business world, and a venture capitalist whose Midas touch was legendary. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his smile was confident and warm, and his eyes held an intelligence that matched her own. James turned as they approached, and, for a split second, Victoria saw recognition flash across his features before his expression settled into professional charm. "Mr. Crawford," Emma said smoothly, "I'd like you to meet Victoria Sterling, founder and CEO of Sterling Technologies. James extended his hand, and when Victoria took it, she felt a jolt of electricity that had nothing to do with static. His grip was firm, confident, and his eyes held hers just a moment longer than strictly professional. "Miss Sterling," he said, his voice exactly as she remembered it. "It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been following your work for quite some time. The pleasure is mutual, Mr. Crawford. Your reputation precedes you." They shook hands while maintaining perfect eye contact, both pretending this was their first encounter, while the memory of their earlier meeting hung in the air between them like a delicious secret. "I was hoping we might have a chance to discuss some potential collaboration opportunities," James continued, releasing her hand with what seemed like reluctance. "Your AI technology combined with the right investment strategy could revolutionize multiple industries." "I'd be very interested in hearing your thoughts," Victoria replied, surprised by how much she genuinely meant it. She had expected this meeting to be just another business negotiation, but James Crawford was proving to be far more intriguing than she had anticipated as they moved to a quieter corner of the reception area. Victoria couldn't help but smile at the absurdity of the situation. Less than an hour ago, she had been passing toilet paper to this man through a bathroom stall door. Now, they were discussing multi-million-dollar business deals while pretending to be strangers. The evening was definitely not going according to plan, but for the first time in years, Victoria found herself looking forward to seeing where the unexpected would lead her next.